We were just about ready to say a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it's important stuff.
Important.
Crucial.
Crucial.
Oh, Chucky, you're too quiet.
No, we're going to rope them in.
Becoming an entrepreneur, getting customers, growing your business. How do you do it?
So I did this shit,
You're about to learn everything you need to know to make your dreams a reality. If you're an entrepreneur, stay, chat, and get to know how to become successful in the cleaning world. Our company provides a wide range of services that include pressure washing, auto detailing, solar panel cleaning, and window cleaning. Now, proudly coming to you live from sunny California, welcome to the AM Pressure Washing Podcast. Here's your host, Mark Sullins.
Yay!
All right, everybody. Take two. We just started this shit a while ago, and we wasn't no voice. I guess we were live, but we had no voice. But now we got voice. So for those of you that seen us just doing this right here and you couldn't hear us, guess what? To my left, all the way from Chattanooga, Tennessee, the one, the only Michael Brandt from GarageBound.
Hello, everybody. Michael Brandt from GarageBound LLC in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
And then to your left is...
So we have some special guests with us.
Special.
To the left of me is one of the most specialist people I know. Is Brian Fortney. He's one of my oldest friends in Chattanooga, and we get along pretty okay. And we
sometimes
used to do things until he got old and just stayed at home all weekend long. But we drug him out here to honor California and see him.
Your time is coming too.
And then we have to the right our friend Chuck Faught from Flame Technologies, and he's another really important friend of mine, and we do a lot more together than Brian and I do because Brian got old.
Yeah.
Throw me under the bus there, Michael Brandt.
Put him out in the pasture like an old car.
I'm telling you, but I'm a classy.
He came and bailed us out a few times in our
Yes, he did. He absolutely
when we
came
need him,
and
he
bailed us
actually
out.
shows up.
Right on.
Yeah. If you absolutely need Brian, he will come.
If you build it, he will come.
If you build it, he will come.
So for those that you don't know, so Michael, I'll give a little bit of feedback on him. He's pretty bashful about talking about his background and stuff like that. But for those of you that watch Monster Garage with Jesse James, he was on one of the shows that won that season. And I got to know Michael 2 years ago in Indiana at Realcraft. So Realcraft invited both of us out to come tour their factory and talk to them and go over ideas and see their new products and all that good stuff. And that's how I got to know Michael. But like the saying goes, the world's a small place. Once you get to know people, you start networking and you become good friends with them, and you grow your business and friendship and everything else. So this morning I'm sitting there drinking my morning cup of coffee, going through social media, and it was Connie's. She's over here hiding in the corner.
Connie's hiding on the counter over
Connie
here, but
Brand
we will
is
get her
over
in the
sitting on
picture before it's over
hiding,
with.
eating
She's
gummy
so
bears.
cute over there.
So,
and her little fur cat.
But I seen a
Eating gummies.
post that they were in California, and I'm like, dude, you're in freaking California? Where you at? And they're like, we're out here in Ontario. And I'm like, dude, you're right by my shop. Get your ass down here. So Michael's never been able to, has never visited the shop before. So now he gets to see all the crazy stuff that I do around here.
I wish I would have brought a truck so I could steal some of these bicycles because they'd look way better hanging in my shop than in here.
I know. I do the same thing that you're doing. When I'm on you're doing your posts, your videos, I'm looking at your walls.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that would be a cool bike because I got my patina bikes, I got my pretty bikes, I got a little bit of everything
Maybe
in
we can
here.
do some bike swapping next time you come out.
Yep. A friend of mine, sister worked at a gas station, and they had a lot of NASCAR memorabilia. So, like, that is a real NASCAR wheel. And I'm thinking, these things must be light. Dude, I had to get my forklift to set it up there, then anchor the damn thing down. Those things are heavy. But we got hoods. I got legitimate racing hoods off of cars. I got the Truck Series Red Bull hood back there.
That's pretty great.
But they said, if you don't get this stuff out, it's going in the trash. I couldn't get my truck there quick enough. I said, let's load it up. I got some wall art.
And then you get even more crap when you get a gooseneck in a truck that can pull like 20,000 pounds at a time. You'd be surprised what people will give you if you can just get it gone.
My wife, we were sitting there talking, and you were texting me saying that you wanted to go do some yard sales and thrift shopping and everything else. I'm like, dude, you're out here in Riverside. This is a capital for this kind of stuff. And then they're like, but they're from Chattanooga. I said, dude, you don't understand. Have you ever seen Michael's shop? They collect stuff. Yeah. They like to go out and find unique stuff, and it's all over the place around here.
Yeah.
But the yard sales around here. So over here where I'm at in the back country, over here off of Grand, there's a lot of ranches, you know, people that race horses, stuff like that. So you find a little bit of everything around here. You got a lot of hoarders around here.
We did take about a 15-minute detour and stop because I saw a bunch of houses in the hills. I'm like, surely some of those people are having yard sales. So we went to one place that was great. It had a ton of baby stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then another place that had all this like foreign music on CDs. And we didn't find anything worthwhile.
That's me. I do my cruise by. I cruise by, and if all I see is clothes, I just keep cruising.
Yeah.
We did 2 drive-bys.
We did 2 drive-bys.
You did some drive-bys today?
I always feel like a heel, though. I'm like, we came here. We got to at least stop and look.
Buy something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like downtown, Old Town Temecula, Connie. Old Town Temecula, they have a lot of thrift shops down the street. This is in Old Town. You're going to see a lot of hot rods cruising through there. You got all your bars. You got everything down through there. So in Old Town Temecula is where me and my wife like to hang out. I love it down there. We call it the cock stand, the rooster stand. You can sit outside the bar right here where the cars drive and have you a drink or whatever and sit there and watch everything cruise around. You got the Old Town Pub. That's where a lot of Harleys hang out and old cars. Right across the street is Swing Inn. That's like a 50s diner. They got all the old hot rods, the tea buckets and everything else over there. So Old Town Temecula is fine. And then you got Old Town Marietta that does the same thing. That's literally just right down the street here. So,
well, we wish we had more time.
I know. I wish I knew you guys were coming. Next time you come into Cali, you got to say, hey, you got to remember, Connie, Michael, let Mark know that you're coming. Now you got my information.
Yeah.
Just let me know you guys are coming in and we can plan something.
Cool.
Sounds good to me.
So tonight, I think we talked about it before, but tonight Michael's got a special deal. He's going to go see...
we've got a really cool opportunity where I was invited to speak at one of my mentors' birthday parties that he only does like once every 10 years, and his name's Von Hot Rod, and some of you in the automotive industry might know him as a famous pinstriper that does fine lines, and it took a lot of years for me to build a friendship with him and earn his respect, and I guess the biggest thing would be to earn his trust. But he told me, you know, after visiting him at the World of Wheels, you know, every year that, you know, you should really be working with kids in your welding. You have a great story of recovery and turning your life around. You really have something to offer kids. And I'm like, me? He's like, yeah. I'm like, where? He's like, here at this show, at the World of Wheels show next year, you need to bring and work with kids in welding. And I said, okay, I'll try it. And so I did that, and that was a bunch of years ago, and we do it twice a year, and I'm pretty excited. A lot of opportunities and have come about from working with youth, and I love teaching to begin with. And I've also, like, several times told several people that if I could earn what I do in business just teaching, you know, and sharing that information, I would probably do that, but I haven't figured a way out how to do that yet. So I just do it on my own dime, you know, twice a year.
Yeah. That's one of the things like we do here. So all this stuff right here, AM Pressure Washing bought this. I don't get paid by YouTube. I don't get paid by nobody to do this. So I do podcasts for free. Anytime we have customers that come in, we give back to them. We'll throw them on a podcast. We'll advertise them, or I'll go out and film them and show their equipment and get their logos off their vehicles and promote them. We have people that tune in around the world. And I mean, we have people from Australia, Africa, Guam, Vietnam, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, United States, Canada, that tune in to us.
That's a pretty big audience.
Yeah.
Yes. And what's cool about it is, you know, it's like, you know, I've been, you know, talking shit, but I'm just a country bumpkin from Alabama. I'm nobody. But what the thing is, out here in this world, you got people that sell this kind of stuff, and all they want is your money. They don't want to train you. They don't want to teach you. They don't want to educate you so you know how to take care of your equipment. And we do all of that. If you go onto my YouTube channel, and at the very top titles, if you go to playlist, I have how-to videos. So we're all the time having customers call us, hey, Mark, I got a problem with this right here. How do I fix it? I said, give me 1 minute. I'll call Kaylin out. We'll do a video. We'll film it. We'll put it in our how-to videos. I'll send them a link, and there you go.
Yeah. That's cool.
So, you know, the problem with the world, the way it is nowadays, is everybody's doing this right here. They're holding their hand out because they want to get paid for everything. I love to give my knowledge. If it's worthwhile to you, I give it to you for free. If it didn't help you, then there you go. It didn't cost you nothing.
It's pretty cool to work with younger people that actually want it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell you how many times we've got hit up, you know, by a parent. And this happened just recently, actually, within this last year. You know, I'd really like my son to come work with you, this and that. You know, he's doing this welding school, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, so I've heard from you 4 times now. I said, so next time, you know, if your son is serious about wanting to come here, have him reach out to me. I don't want to hear from you anymore.
Yeah, we want to hear from the son.
If the kid wants to be here, then I'd love to have him. But if he wants to be there because you want him here, I don't want him here.
Yeah.
And it's just how it is. It's like I'm not going to be a babysitter because you think this is a good idea for your child. If your child is genuinely interested and wants to come and learn all the different things that we have to offer, then I'm all about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael, every now and then he responds to some of my posts, but I got him the other day. We had Savannah here. So you met Constance and Hunter.
Yes.
Savannah is Hunter's sister.
Okay.
So she works at Starbucks, but she's also interested in welding. And then finally got to meet the dad. So I told the dad that I was going to bring her over to the shop and, you know, help her on her welding and everything. And then after I did that and we did the post and everything, her dad literally wrote me a huge story about him, the family, her childhood, everything going on, and thanked me so much for that. And I didn't think nothing about it.
Yeah.
And so this is, you know, just me. I don't expect nothing in return. Whatever I do for you, I hope it helps you out. If you got any questions, if you didn't grasp something, come back and I'll help you. But I was literally working on that cart for that display at SEMA. So I told her, I said, I'm gonna get everything tacked in place. I got some metal down. I said, let's run a bead. And then I showed her a couple of little corrections to run the bead. I said, all right, start welding it up. She got all freaked out. She said, are you serious? I said, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I said, she said, what about if I mess up? I said, it's called a grinder. We'll grind it off and we'll redo it. So I sat there and was watching her weld. I taught her how to do vertical, overhead, horizontal. And then, you know, if I seen something, I said, here, I'd grab her hand and I'd show her how to do it. I said, all right, take back off, let's go.
Yeah.
So, you know, I posted that, and sure shit, all of a sudden, Michael Brandt, come live. Well, I love that, or whatever you sent to me. I'm like, yeah, I got him because it deals with welding.
Yeah.
We
well,
tried.
and speaking about welding, all the things that you showed us that you've built today, I had no idea that you had the fabrication and welding skills. I just thought you put pressure washer stuff together, but this guy's quite the builder. I might have to be like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that?
No.
Yeah, you got an awesome shop. That's for
I'm
sure.
impressed that he welds in here.
Huh?
I'm impressed that he welds inside here.
I know
this
it is
place
too
is
nice.
like, I don't know, it could be a coffee shop. It's so clean.
Yeah.
I feel like a little inadequate thinking about my shop back
Look over
home.
there on top of my welder. I got a big blanket that I put underneath the trucks whenever I'm welding, so I don't get so much burnt spots in the floor and everything else.
Oh yeah, that's way too much headache.
Yeah.
I'm beating on the floor with a hammer and a piece of steel.
How many times I've swept his shop.
Yeah.
And it takes me, 3 hours?
It's never ending.
But see, me, I can use a dust mop to clean my floor real quick because I'm under shit all the time. I'm up underneath it, and I don't want to come up like I'm a pig just getting out of mud, you know?
Yeah.
So
oink,
I'm,
Yeah, wink, wink.
you know, everybody's got their sickness. I'm very anal about being organized, neat, and clean. You know, I still get, well, I mean, look at these hands.
Good job.
These are not, you know,
good
I got
job.
calluses. I work. You know, a lot of people think, oh, I just sit in the office and sit here and do podcasts. No, I'm out here working. I go out and pressure wash. I fabricate. So the older you get, I get bored doing the same shit all the time. So one day I might go out and pressure wash a gas station. But the next day I might be in here building something. The next day I'll be in the office doing paperwork. But I like to stay, you know, well-rounded and keep doing different stuff. I get bored building the same stuff. Like I started building these skids, but I'm not a factory worker. I cannot sit on a assembly line, nut, bolt, washer. I could not do that. I would lose my mind.
I agree.
That's what I like about my business is that it's custom fabrication. So we don't ever have like, we're going to make 500 of these widgets or 600 of these widgets, you know. But I understand why companies do it because you can make good money and you can forecast growth, you know.
Yeah.
If you had those accounts and you're like, okay, yeah, this quarter we're going to build 400 of these, next quarter we're going to build 6,000 of these, then you can kind of plan growth. But I've found that my business is always an as-needed service, and thankfully I've just been needed, you know, enough to get by and get ahead and get some toys and try to keep my finances in order, which aren't real good right this second.
Yeah.
Connie's looking at you.
Well, luckily
We're traveling on a credit card right now.
Luckily, there's people out there that's not like us, because if everybody was like us, we wouldn't get nothing built in this world. I mean, I got friends that have machine shops. They build these little bitty components, they do all this little intricate stuff. And I walk in there and you hear the machines going, ning, 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 and then it drops off and it goes to the next, you know, machine that does this. And I'll sit there and watch them work, and I'm like, I got to go. I would lose my mind in here. I would fall asleep in the machine and my head would be in it. Next thing you know, I'd be all scarred up. But yeah, you know, luckily we got people out there that do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it needs to happen. But I'm like you, I lose interest. I have to be doing something different all the time.
Yeah. I've got a couple of people talking to me right now. I can talk about them, but I had to sign a NDA on who they are and everything else. So I did a podcast about 3 or 4 weeks ago from DroneWorks. They're based here out of Marietta or Temecula. And they have a drone that can go 300 or 400 feet up in the air with the 3/8 hose. But we did some work after the podcast. I'm sitting there looking at the drone that was set up here behind me. And me being me, I start trying to find out a BBD, bigger, better deal. I said, so dude, you know, your wand is right here at the end of your props. I said, you got prop wash, so you're not getting adequate pressure to the wall or whatever you're cleaning. So as soon as we got done with the podcast, the table went back over here and I went to the table and started fabricating. And when we got done, I had them 3 different type of wands to do. We went out here and fired the drone up. We cleaned the back side of the building. And I said, there you go. I called them up the other day. I said, how do you like it? They like, dude, we love it. I said, so there you go. Now you learn how to do it. They were trying to clean with a 0 tip. So I got them on a fan tip, extended the wand out. I told them, I said, you just slide to the left, bump it. Slide to the right, bump it. Slide to the left, because you're just doing this.
Yeah.
And you're cleaning. So there, I said, now all you need to do is just work on your technique. Once you get your technique done, clean, buddy.
Yeah.
Have a party.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the other company is the same thing. So this drone had about a 48-inch, you know, circle span.
Dang.
The next one I'm building, we're building a truck with the pressure washer with a huge Realcraft, shout out to Realcraft.
Realcraft. What's up, guys?
Electric hose reel that's going to be underneath the landing pad. This drone has a 20-foot wingspan.
Wow, that's a big drone.
And it's a government drone. So that's why I can't talk, you know, say who they are. But they said, well, we want to go ahead and get the fire trucks and bring them to you and you start building them. I said, whoa, hold your horses. Let me get one truck, let me do all the R&D, get everything figured out so the next 4 will go real quick. And they're like, oh, okay, we're good with that. So this one's going to be a crazy one. So we're going to do an electric reel that has a guide for the hose. It will take off and you just let there and let the drone lift it up. It goes 400 feet in the air with the 2-strand grade 3/8 hose. It can handle 400 foot of hose.
Wow, that's a lot.
Plus pressure wash.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, so I can't wait to get that one going. That's another big build going on.
So when they pull when the pressure starts coming out of the nozzle, does it knock the drone back?
It does it for a little bit, but the drones have compensators in them to keep it, you know, wherever you station it. So when it does it, it'll go right back to it.
Got you.
So these knuckleheads, when we were working on the drone out here, he just walked away and come in here. I'm like, dude, what about the drone? He said, it'll stay right there. So I'm looking outside and I'm looking at him. I'm like, oh, it is. It's just staying right there. And then you flew it in here, or another one of the guys flew it in here, and he went and used the restroom. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I had to use the restroom. I'm like, your drone's sitting right here flying. He said, it won't go nowhere. I'm like, oh,
that's crazy.
Okay.
Inside of a building.
Inside of a building. It was just sitting there going,
yeah. Good servant.
Yeah, good servant. I'll sit here and wait for you, like a little dog, you know. But yeah, you know, we were talking about this earlier about technology and everything else. It's just crazy how the world is. The younger generation is what keeps me in like awe now. They're so smart with phones, computers, tablets, and all that kind of stuff. But the way that they live their life, which we were talking about, it's like it's a whole complete different world than what we grew up in.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
very much different.
My entertainment was getting on my bicycle and running around the neighborhood and doing stuff. That's not even done anymore. We don't even see that.
You know, it wasn't uncommon for me to jump on my, you know, mountain bike on a Saturday morning and then riding 17 miles each way to a completely different town, spending the day there doing whatever I wanted to do, which was probably what got me in a lot of trouble when I was younger.
Yep.
But still, I mean, that's what kids did. They get out and they're expected like to be outside, not in the house.
Yep.
If it's nice outside, you're supposed to be outside doing something, leaving your parents alone.
And we didn't have phones for our mom to call us until to get home.
I would have been
we just
so
knew
much,
what time we had to get home before.
When the street lights came on.
Yeah.
I would have been in so much trouble if I had a cell phone when I was younger.
Oh God, it's a completely different world now.
Yep.
But that's the life that we live in.
So it's also fun, you know, to include other people. Like Lucky Chuckie and I have traveled cross country and set up like some high school welding competitions, and we take a throne. Why don't you tell them about the throne, Chuck?
Yeah.
So my company's Flame Technologies, and we manufacture oxy-fuel cutting and heating equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So we had acquired a large number of damaged torches, manufacturing mishaps, so on to speak. So we had a big crate, and we had a meeting, and we were going to scrap it all out and buy pizza for the factory. Everyone's working in the factory pizza day. And it was in the meeting, and I was like, why don't we do something cool with these instead of just scrapping them out? They're like, what do you have in mind? I said, well, I got a friend in Chattanooga. I said, how about we build something? And they're like, well, what do you want to build? And I said, it went around the table in the meeting, and I didn't come up with the idea. It was actually Jonathan that came up with it and said, let's build a throne. And I said, cool. So I called Mike. I said, can we build a throne out of torches? And he said, I said, well, how much would it cost for us to do this? Doing it in your shop, shop time. And he said, do I get to keep it when it's done? I said, yeah, you can keep it. And I said, cool. Then you and I get together on nights, weekends, whatever it takes, and let's build this thing.
Yeah.
And we built it for our trade show in Chicago, not knowing whether we'd be able to do it or not, but we made it to where it shoots flames about an extra 4 feet. So there's flames going 14 feet in the air off of this throne. So showed up to the trade show and said we had it all planned out. We hooked it up to the cylinders and stuff, and we said we only got one shot at it. We're going to have someone sit in the throne. We're going to fire it up. Everyone's going to take pictures and videos because they're going to shut us down. There's no way we're going to keep running this thing. So we did it. Everyone got ready, and we fired it up, shot the flames up. Everything worked the way it should. And then the crowd started coming.
Oh, yeah.
And the crowd started coming. So then the organizers of the event came and seen it. And they pretty much went to the fire marshal and said, just let this one be and let us fire it off for the next 4 days. And it was
insane.
It was
That's
insane.
crazy.
They never would have given permission for it.
Okay, I remember I seen you when you were filming it on your social media. But did you guys have that at Vegas last year at SEMA?
No.
No, we've never had it at SEMA. So my company doesn't.
I remember
We don't have a
seeing it.
booth at SEMA. The only one that's been at SEMA, Craftsman did a chair with wrenches, but it wasn't near as
It's
good.
lame.
Yeah, it wasn't near as good.
No, I'm talking about with the cutting torches.
So we had after that we had FabTech is the name of the event that we do, and FabTech was in Vegas the following year, but we didn't bring it.
Okay.
So that was just a FabTech thing, and then since then we've drug it all over the country. We've had it next to a mud bog in South Georgia.
Yeah, that was
flames
fun.
going off at the monster
Right on.
trucks and,
All the kids, man. The
I
kids
guess
really
all
like
the
it.
rednecks out. Woo!
We have it out at our Halloween party each year that we have, and it's so funny because over the years you see the little kids that have been told their whole life they can't play with fire. They're really afraid of it, because it's got a wireless remote. You can make it flame with a wireless remote, and so they want to touch the remote, and then they want to make it flame, and then they're not brazen enough to sit in it while it's flaming, and then the next year they'll come back. They want to sit in it and push the button to make it flame.
What are you doing? Running propane off of it?
Yeah, it's propane and oxygen, yeah. So,
Right on.
so everything on that throne is products that we make, whether it's for the steel industry or just general shop like you have. You may have just a little torch that you maybe heat something up and bend it. But
Yeah.
majority of the stuff that I do with FlameTech is I travel all over the world and just do difficult cutting applications. So
Yeah.
I've cut up to 65 inches of steel with one torch. So
That's so
over 5
thick.
feet thick.
That's solid.
Solid.
65
So-
inch solid.
One torch.
One torch. So
That's crazy.
so we do everything from small torches all the way to the big stuff. So within that throne, there are torches that are just hobby torches all the way up through those large torches that do heavy capacity. So everything's represented.
I forgot we were working on a barge, and this guy come in with a 48-inch cutting torch, liquid oxygen, and I'm like, he come in with, or was it oxygen or nitrogen that they do that?
It's oxygen.
Oxygen. He come in and it's smoking, turning white. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He said, watch this. He went over there and started cutting all the I-beams. It was like butter. I said, dude, that's sweet.
Well, the thing about those big torches, even though you're running off a liquid can, you have to turn that liquid into gas before you can use it in your torch. Otherwise, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, what happened is we was having to do a salvage, and we drug the barge in to start cutting it up. And it was just a salvage job. They got a hole, and it was done. It went to the bottom. We literally floated it up to be able to bring it in and start cutting it up. It was a scrap job.
Yeah, just last week we were doing an R&D project with a new torch for us. It's not necessarily a new project, but our process, but it's a new process for us. We actually take iron powder and inject it into the flame of the torch. So by
What?
doing that, it allows you to cut stainless steel, cast iron, anything that's not normally cut with oxygen fuel.
Damn, I got to start getting out more. I use my Miller welders, my plasma cutter.
Or you can just go to Instagram and look up FlameTech
Oh,
_ Scorpion.
that's probably the best bet.
Yeah,
You know,
Tell them about how Instagram censors your content sometimes. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's not. It was TikTok. So
TikTok.
So we're not real active on TikTok. We've been active on Instagram for years, and I think it was when we were down with Connie in Texas, and she got on the TikTok thing.
Yeah.
And I started the TikTok for the company, and I can't put anything on that's got flames or sparks because it's dangerous on TikTok. So they're constantly shutting my videos down because there's fire and sparks.
what?
Yes.
Yeah.
What does this world come to?
I can't even smoke a cigar on Instagram Reels without hitting the guidelines for using tobacco on, like, because I'm like where I can earn money on Reels, even though they stopped paying money on Reels, they still sent me a notification that I can't make any money on that Reel because it was had tobacco
Promoting
use.
tobacco use.
Yeah. And it's like, you guys don't even pay anymore anyway.
Well, what you need to do is you need to embed cigar ads in your videos, and then you can make some money.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
right on.
Loopholes.
Everything is so stupid with all that censorship, I think.
And then after the throne build, we got together and we needed to do something different. So that's when we came up with, it's actually our buddy Josh Mazerol from Vig Industries. We were at another SEMA event, which is PRI in Indianapolis, which is performance racing industry. And sometimes when we all get together, it's almost like a sleepover kind of thing. So
Yeah.
we get a hotel room, and everyone bunks in and sleeping on the floor and whatnot.
Pajama party.
Yeah, it's like pajama party.
Right on.
And Josh Mazerol, if you don't know who he is, he's an interesting guy, but a great friend. And he wears his black cowboy hat, right?
Yeah.
So it's like we're at this, we got this little sleepover thing going on. He's sitting Indian style on the floor with his black cowboy hat and his sleeping bag, and he's like, dude, what if we have an event where we invite people from all over the country to build four-wheel drive vehicles out of vehicles that were never meant to be four-wheel drive vehicles? Are you in? And we go, yeah.
He's like, you won't do it.
Yeah, you've never built anything four-wheel drive before, so we never built a throne before, but we did it. you know?
Yeah.
So we got involved with that, and Mike had a car hanging out at the shop, and you could tell him about that a little bit where you acquired this.
Yeah, so I had a 55 Cadillac four-door car or this 49 Packard bathtub-looking car. And it's going to be one of those two that we could build. And Josh talked us into using the Packard because it had a real short tail end, so we could have a better approach, or however you say that. Mm-hmm. And so we built this Packard in 5 months. We worked nights. I mean, I remember some nights we wouldn't get home till like 3 or 4 in the morning. Chuck and I just at the shop grinding. And then the day we had to leave, well, Brian came over too. He had to make our drive shafts. And what else did you have to do?
Transfer case.
Transfer case.
Key case.
Yeah.
And set up the gears.
Brian works at Hidlow Axle, so he's got access to all the cool gears and drive shafts and anything
Any kind of fabrication on the suspension.
on the suspension.
So how big was that front drive shaft that we had for that thing? It was like this big.
Yeah, exactly. Short.
Yeah.
A little shorty.
Michael Short.
Because what it is, basically the truck, we scrounged all this stuff up. So we had the 49 Packard. We knew it was going to be a Packard. But then we had to put it on a chassis, so we had to find a chassis. And Mike has got this weird thing about dualies. He's in love with dualies. So he's like, I don't care what we do, but it's got to be a dually. I'm like, okay, Mike. So we found a 3/4 ton Dodge chassis, but it was just a single wide tire in the back. So we got it. It was a frame that was just sitting in some guy's backyard.
Rolling chassis.
A rolling
No
chassis.
engine or nothing.
No engine, nothing, just tires.
They had stripped everything off we didn't need anyway. It was great.
That's awesome.
So we bring it back and say, this is going to be our foundation. And again, it's got to be a dually. It's got to be a dually. So we go to the junkyard and we find a school bus. And we cut the rear end out of the school bus and bring it back and put it underneath this thing. And we had to cut all the brackets off, build all new brackets, and somehow we figured it out. And we actually turned this chassis into a dually chassis.
Right. Did you four-link it?
No,
No,
we had
no,
leaf
no,
springs.
leaf springs.
Yeah.
So,
With no shocks.
So it had a Chevy dually rear end out of a school bus.
Yeah.
Chassis was a 3/4 ton Dodge.
Yeah.
So I had
the
an
engine was out of a motorhome.
I had an engine in Hawk at the machine shop. I had started to have him rebuild it, and I had like, close your ears, Connie. I had like $1,000 into it already, right?
Yeah.
And so I had to come up with another like $1,500 to get it finished. But then Comp Cams hooked us up with a full roller comp cam assembly, so we put that in there, and then so we had that engine was supposed to be a good engine in a whole motorhome that I got, and it was not a good engine. So I got juked on that, but then we were able to rebuild it, and it turned into a nasty little wicked engine. So it was board, what, 40 over, big block,
It was
454?
468,
Yeah.
So then we needed other things, right? So we went and got a tow truck.
Oh, yeah, we need transmission.
And we basically parted this tow truck out, took the transmission out. We needed a pedal assembly, so we had to pull all the pedal assembly out and grafted them in. We grafted in the power steering booster, the master cylinder for the clutch, and just basically just robbed off of whatever we could rob. The transfer case came out of a 65 Ford pickup truck.
Because we had a problem because it was a driver's side drop, right? And everything, right? Driver's side, yeah. And everything else was passenger side drop. And the only thing we could find that we could maybe get our hands on was an old Ford, like 2500, transfer case to be able to have the driver's side drop. So
Divorced.
Yeah.
So we hodgepodged this thing together pretty good, but man, it was tough. We didn't.
And at this point, we've never built a four-wheel drive vehicle before.
No, so we had to lean
winging
on
everything.
We had a lot of people, a lot of help with
we had
Brian.
with Brian, Hidlow, Steve Hidlow.
Three drive shafts.
3 drive shafts. Yeah, I couldn't do it right the first time.
So then the whole premise
actually
was,
3 drive shafts.
with us being in the fabrication side or the welding side, we're like, we're going to build a vehicle, but we're going to have to build a vehicle that reflects what we do.
Yeah.
Plus, there's people all over the country that are doing the same thing that we're doing. They're throwing these vehicles together. So what's going to happen? It's going to break.
It's going to break.
So, and they're filming this. So we didn't say this is for a show on Amazon Prime called Death Wish Show. So we wanted to make sure that we were going to be in every single cut of that show.
Yeah.
We want our vehicle to be in every scene, and we welded on every single vehicle on that show
To keep them
everyone
going.
broke.
It was a competition, so you had to do like drag racing, you had to do off-road, whoever got 2 tires off the ground, and you had to spell Death Wish letter by letter. If you pick up trash, you get a letter. If you get 2 tires off the ground, you get a letter. If you get 4 tires off the ground, you get a letter. If you win the drag race, help another contestant. So we ended up welding 6 of the cars back together so they could continue competing.
And crazy things.
Yeah.
The one guy broke his clutch pedal off. How do you break a clutch pedal? Off of a Lincoln with a diesel engine on a Ford
5.9
Super Duty chassis.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you have to go watch it. It's a lot of fun.
When I met Michael at Realcraft, after I come back home, I was telling my wife, I got to meet you, and there was one show that I was watching, this young kid that just throws shit together. He wears a cowboy hat. Skinny guy, he was on there.
That's Josh.
Yeah,
That's
Josh.
Josh.
Yeah.
So that's where I started watching. I'm like, oh, there it is. There's the Packard. So I started watching this thing, and I forgot you were doing donuts or something with it. You broke it then, didn't you?
Yeah, so we never really publicly announced, but we took it on a cross-country tour because we wanted to take it down to FlameTech in Austin because they were such a huge supporter of that project. And man, FlameTech really hooked us up. Like, they'd pay for our gas to go across the country, give him time off work paid to go across the country to go do this thing. Gave us all the torches we needed.
That's good.
Because this thing was a mobile welding unit. I mean, you open the trunk, it had an electric hydraulic table that slid out, engine drive, multi-process welding machine, plasma cutter. We had onboard air. I have two or 300 CFM bottles. 300s.
3.
Yeah, 2 300 CFM welding tanks welded up underneath.
2 underneath.
Welded up underneath the
For
chassis.
rock sliders.
And you had Realcraft in there, too.
Yeah, we had Realcraft.
3 Realcraft.
Craft reels. We had
Yep.
an electric reel in the trunk that we would pull out for our electric. We had an argon reel, and then we had torches reels on the top.
Right on.
So we were
And compressed air.
and compressed air.
Well, off camera, I can probably talk to you about it, but there's some new ones coming out right now. I can't technically say what they are yet.
It doesn't surprise me with you.
Yeah. So they, the reel that I was telling you about is over here. I'll show it to you. It's a little black one in the chair.
Okay.
So Realcraft starts building them in January. So when they go live with them, I told them I wanted to be there. So the very first one that comes off the assembly line, I'm going to get a marker and have everybody sign it.
Oh, cool. That's
and
really
then I
cool.
want to put it in a, display around here somewhere.
For those of you watching, we will soon be doing a giveaway with Realcraft. We're going to do one of our specialized reels, not quite as specialized as yours, but what we did is we took one of their reels and like an airline reel, and we wanted to put argon hose on it and you could put almost 250 feet of argon hose on that because it's like only 1/4 inch diameter. But we mount that in our trailer, and we leave our bottles in the trailer when we're doing mobile welding jobs and stuff so that you can just stretch that thing out and hook right to your machine with some quick release fittings. So that's been a really good match, and we'd like to put one more on a dual valve system inside the shop door because we do a lot of work on big stuff outside in front of the shop. So we're going to set one of those reels up and do a giveaway with Reelcraft. So any guys that do any kind of welding and moving your machines around often, which happens in most shops, you can just leave the bottles at the wall where they're nice and safe, contained in a rack of some kind, and just use the quick release fittings to your machines, whether you're inside, outside, or if you want to use it for a mobile welding aspect. So that's coming up soon.
Yeah, that's cool. I want to get more involved. I know with Reelcraft, when we go up in January, they're going to be talking to me about some other stuff that we can help promote their equipment over there.
I haven't got the invite for January yet.
Well, it's not. I don't know what day it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just said, they told me the other day, Kevin, the engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kevin was just telling me the other day, he says, we had to hold off because when we were there, I noticed one hose reel that I didn't like, and that wasn't Reelcraft. So we started talking about them, in the meeting that day, and we literally started building reels, and that was in November. January, I got the first prototypes. And then we picked them out, and I actually put them on equipment, and we used them. And then we did some mods, and they sent me those, and I've got them working. And then we come up with the final one over here.
Cool.
So
that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm like, for them, you know what, guys? I get excited over the littlest things. Just for me to get to help somebody out, we're like Reelcraft, and give them my idea. And what's cool about Scott and Brian, Scott Cassidy, shout out to you, Brian.
Jen.
These guys, they will sit and listen to you. It's not like, oh, I built this, or this is mine, and don't you tell me you can do anything different to it. That's not what they're about. It's like me. I tell everybody, I don't build nothing perfect. I get people that, tell me, hey, Mark, won't you incorporate this, or won't you do this? And I'll check it out. I'm like, all right, let's figure it out. I incorporate it, with the stuff that I build. And that's what I like about Reelcraft, is they literally took me to the factory, and I'm looking at everything. And then we seen a reel, and I'm like, dude, we can build a better reel. Let's do this shit.
Yeah.
So we got it figured out, and here we are. We got a reel now.
That's pretty awesome.
So, but that's, it's like, I was just telling you guys a little while ago about drone works. So they were, showing me the drone and everything, and I was asking them, how they clean and everything else. And me being in the pressure washing business, it took me 2 seconds. I was sitting here literally talking to them during the podcast, thinking about what I could do as soon as we get done. Because I'm a weirdo. I love building stuff.
Well, one of the favorite things I get to do is the critical thinking, problem solving. That's the most fun for me. So here's the problem. I come up with a solution, and then I can construct it and play. It's like playing with Legos, and I get it all put together, and then I can just stand back and let somebody else weld it out. I'm like, you have fun. Just put nice welds on it,
Yep.
So it's the constructive thinking that I really enjoy.
Well, and like in my world, I've got people around the world that's not here in California that can come to my shop. They're like, Mark, dude, can you help me for a minute? I'm like, what you got going on? And he said, like some people's like, I got a trailer. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm like, well, take me a picture and let's go live and let me look at what you got. And then I said, get a tape measure out. Let's start measuring it. So as they're holding, I'm getting them to do video, showing me where everything's at. I said, then here's how you lay it out. And they're like, dude, thank you. There you go. Have a party.
Yeah, have fun.
Have fun.
Yep.
But this is the kind of things that I like doing is, I go back to a country bumpkin from Alabama. I'm just a goofy,
you like that challenge
guy. But people will come to me because they want to hear how I would do it. And people's like, how did you start doing this? I pressure washed. Back in the days, I used to work at nighttime and then, sleep during the day because I was out cleaning all night. But when I started building my own equipment and I'm going down the road, people see my equipment. They would literally call me or wait for me to pull over because they want to walk around my truck or trailer and look and see what I got. So that's how I started doing it. They're like, well, dude, who built this? I'm like, I did. And they're like, would you build me one? I'm like, what? I said, where? And, my wife got pissed off at me because I used to do it in our neighborhood in my driveway. I'm out there with a chop saw, just pissing all the neighbors off.
I've got 2 cease and assist orders for doing the same thing.
And then my wife, we got another build, and it was a big build. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how I'm going to do this build. So I had to keep putting this guy off until I found this building.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I got this building. And literally, I live 2 minutes down the street. I can literally get on my little scooter and run home real quick.
Yeah, that's cool.
But, that's what was cool about it because, my neighbors already done had enough on me.
Yes.
Yeah, I got in trouble. I had my business license taken away from me. I had a lot of stuff happen.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a neighbor that wasn't too happy with me. Oh, well.
I got into all my trouble before I had a business license. So. The bigger and bigger workspaces just kind of came out of necessity,
Yeah. Well, my driveway's in a little bit of a slant, and when you're trying to build something and get everything level, it's kind of hard to do it. You got to have a level floor. Yeah. So, but
you'd be surprised what you can build in a 2-car garage, though. I built some cool stuff in a 2-car garage. I just built some big stuff in a 2-car garage, like in sections that took like 8 people to carry out at one time to set up in the driveway. Yeah, some cool stuff at Rock City.
Yeah. But yeah, anytime you guys got anything going on, if there's any way I can contribute, just give me a call, give me a little bit of heads up so I can space the calendar out, and I will be more than glad. I'll share all my information with you when we get done. But, with Michael and everything else, if, you guys are more in the mainstream of, doing what you guys do. But, if there's anything I can contribute to it, I'd be more than glad to come help you guys out. I love giving back. I mean, it's just like what you see today. We're sitting here having breakfast this morning. Michael's like, let's do a podcast. I was like, let's fire it up.
Might as well, we're here, right? Now's our chance.
Pull the table out, hit the button, turn the computer on. Second time around, we had, voice and everything, but the first time I didn't have the voice up.
Yeah, it's okay.
But, this is the things that, I like doing is I love giving back to everybody. If I can help somebody out, I don't give a shit if it's pressure washing, welding, answering questions, troubleshooting stuff. That's what we do. And it's what I like doing.
I like using good products. Like, we have a lot of corporate sponsors right now. We just picked up a few more that, we are just partnered with IPG Photonics. So we have a handheld laser welding system that shipped out yesterday coming to our facility. And we'll be a reseller of that product. So be on the lookout on our YouTube, which is GarageBound LLC, or our Instagram page, GarageBound LLC. Everything's that. Using and promoting and reselling these handheld laser welding systems that I'm really excited about.
That's what I want to talk to you about. We've already talked about it because you were at some show, you were playing with one.
Yeah, I was using it at FabTech show. I'm like, just something kept drawing me. I got to go see this laser welding, right? And I get up there and I do it, and I have a beautiful, immaculate looking precision weld that's like laser weld. I mean, doesn't get any finer than that. And I did it first time because I know torch angle, and I see immediately the value of how I could teach somebody else to do this in 15 minutes to have beautiful welds. Which is, guys spend years and years and years learning how to do precision TIG welding very well, to where, it's getting harder and harder to find those guys. But I can take just about anybody that's, got the will to learn and show them how to be productive with this thing almost immediately, same day, and then the next day they're able to earn money using that tool for the company and themselves. It's just, they say in the next 4 years it's going to take over at least 40% of traditional handheld welding processes, and I think that figure is extremely conservative, and I had to be the first one in my area to get my hands on this.
I won't. When I've been looking at them, on social media, I get, advertisement. So I was watching this laser welder, and I'm like, dude, it can't be that easy and that nice.
Dude.
TIGging, you make TIG look beautiful. This laser welder, it's done. I'm like, no way.
But it's relative to power too. So some of the videos you see is very thin material.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want to weld 1/4 inch material, you're gonna have to pony up the money to get.
I've already seen it. That damn welder was $10,000. The one that I was looking at.
That's cheap.
Yeah, these are 20 to 30 grand.
For what thickness?
For doing quarter inch.
1/4 inch.
Yeah.
Holy
2,500 kW. Or 2K, yeah.
So it's a 1500, which is going to get you the 1/8 inch.
Is it single phase?
Single phase 30 amp. Single phase 30 amp, 1500 will do 1/4 inch on IPG.
Plugs in right over there where my welder. That's where right behind that big ass.
Now I've seen some other Chinese brands that are doing 5 kW that are doing 1/2 inch. But that's a much larger power source. I'm sure 5 kW is 3-phase, and it has to have a water-cooled torch system.
Yeah.
So the biggest I think you can go with air-cooled torch, which is fine. 1/4 inch works great. So many of our jobs are under 1/4 inch in our shop.
Yeah.
We do a lot of
gauge stuff. In 1/4 inch, if you got thicker, you just do more passes.
Yeah, you can do multiple passes.
Yeah, just keep building your passes up.
I have the tiniest little TIG weld on some 11 gauge aluminum, and they're using size 045 wire, and you can run up to 080 in that system.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, how do you have, the weld is just about as wide as the wire, and it's just perfect. It's insane.
We're definitely going to talk after the podcast because that was one of my projects that I wanted to get.
Okay. We can hook you up.
Now that I've seen, we talked about it. I texted you and said, asked you how you like it and everything. But that was one of my new welders that I want to get. We do a lot of wire around here. I used to do stick. I used to do TIG. Well, I used to do a little bit of TIG, but I'm not as proficient as TIG as I am wire and everything else. I just don't have it. you don't haven't played with it all the time.
Yeah, you got it. It's a learned behavior. You get better with it when you try.
Yeah, my problem is when I get done, I want to raise my hand up and shock the shit out of myself. You know?
It gets so hot and humid and stuff. You get like sweaty. You get shocked. I get shocked all the time when it's hot.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need dry gloves. I'll throw them across because it really zapped me, when I'm like 300 amps AC,
Yeah. Well, guys, anything else you want to add?
I think that's it. We're gonna go.
Brian,
we're gonna go to the
talk?
Yeah, it's Brian's turn to talk. Okay, Brian. Here's 2 microphones.
I don't need to.
Okay.
I'm good.
Brian's good.
You talk enough for me, 2 people anyway.
I talked enough for both of us.
Right on it. Well, it's 20 till 2 right now. If you're going to try to go by and see Mr. Devious.
Oh yeah, thank you for that. We're gonna go see Mr. Devious Customs.
Wait till you see his shop.
I bet his shop's pretty epic.
So he's got multiple shops. So the very first one is all of his pre-stage, mock-up, fabricating. In the back corner, he has where they build all their fuel tanks. So he's known in the car industry for his fuel tanks, his air ride suspensions, his LS conversions, and all that kind of stuff. So he has guys working there around the clock, building all that stuff. Then he's got his shipping department, and then he's got his paint booth on the last one, and then from his paint booth, it comes to the middle one for final assembly. On final assembly, on the very back side of it, it's all his CNC, mills, and then he's got his laser cutter and all that stuff in the back corner where he cuts all the parts and everything out.
That's pretty cool. When we first got our plasma table like 4 or 5 years ago, I thought, man, I'm gonna get this thing running. It's gonna be working 5 days a week. I'm gonna make a killing with it. But by the time I could afford plasma in my small shop, everybody else had already moved on to laser.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are expecting that laser cut quality,
Yeah.
So, but we use it for every single job we do in the shop. It's priceless.
All of those aluminum decks up there, Jeff does all those for me. So he lasers everything out. All the holes are already done. He bends them. He does my logo in it, and done.
That's pretty great.
Quick.
Yeah. Maybe we'll move up to a laser table next. CNC press brake would be really great.
My main thing I want to get, and I'm too cheap to buy a brand new one, is I keep looking for a brake and a shear. Nobody sells them.
Shear wouldn't do much for me. I have had a bunch of small stomp shears, and I got offered a big 8 or 10 foot shear the other day for a stupid good price. I'm just like, it just takes up too much floor space. I can shear whatever I want on my plasma table.
That's why I put everything on wheels. Everything has a compartment, and I store everything. My drill press is in the back corner.
Yeah.
The only thing that stays in one place is that big ass 24-inch grinder over there.
I was eyeballing that
That's
too.
a state. Those things are made in Germany. That's almost a $10,000 grinder.
I believe
There's a guy going out of business. In the next complex, I got it for $2,500.
Oh my gosh, you stole
and
it.
that damn thing, when you turn it on, you turn it off, it'll sit there and spin for 20 minutes. It's so precision.
You come back in, it's still turning.
Yeah. And dude, whenever you put a brand new pad on it and you're grinding, do not get your finger near it. Dude, I have got so many scars where I wear gloves. And it'll still get me, and I'm like, I'll see the red going through the hole. I said, yeah, that got me.
Well, did you feel bad after that?
Do I feel bad? I was just a dumbass for doing it.
After stealing that from him?
No. When I seen it, I knew what it was.
Yeah.
It's a state grinder. That's the name of them. And I'm like, oh, this is going to cost an arm and a leg. And we ended up making a deal. He had a forklift in that, and I think I got both of them for like $3,500.
Oh, that's a
I
deal.
said, dude. And I literally just put the grinder on the forklift, strapped it in, and drove it right over here. Woo, thank you.
That's great.
But, tools, that's one of the things I like to do is I love to go out and see new shit and everything, new tools and everything.
Well,
if I see somebody that's got something, I'll look at it and I'm like, how much you want for it?
That's what's great about FabTech is you can see what all the new stuff is because they're there showcasing it, And if you have, I can't state the value of social media enough to where young people, if you use that as a tool instead of a drama site and build it over time, the different opportunities that can come once you're specialized in whatever industry you're in to partner with these manufacturers that have what you want.
Yep.
That's how we met.
That's how we met, yeah.
And for all of you kids that watch this, or younger generation, you can go out there and get you a business degree, you can get you a computer science degree, and you can get all this other stuff. But when you go out there and get a trade, and if you're a plumber, electrician, a machinist, a welder, fabricator, when you get done doing something, it's like building this stand right here. when you get done with it, you sit there and look at it and you're like, wow, I built that. And the gratification that you get of doing that weighs way more than having a business degree. Yeah. Business degree, you're out there, starting up companies, you're doing whatever you're doing. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy. But with your bare hands, make something like this right here, the gratification is way more.
We talk a lot about this, and it's like I'm usually in front of anywhere from 1,000 to 3,500 kids, and I'll be like, I'll ask them honestly. It's like, look, do you enjoy Scholastic? Do you enjoy testing? Do you enjoy homework? Do you enjoy investing all of this time into your education? And if you answer no to those things, then maybe college education is not for you, but maybe a trade school education would be really good for you. Here's what a trade school education did for me. Right, and then I can run through my accomplishments, not to be bragatory or anything like that, but just to show you that I can take care of myself, my family, and 2 or 3 other families at the same time without having had gone through the college. One of the other parts I see wrong with college is that people will get into earning a degree in this or that, and then they get out and there's really no applicable real-world jobs. So what do you come out with? You come out with a bunch of debt. You come out with a bunch of wasted time. You come out with, don't waste your time or other people's money or your money for all that matters if you're not 100% sure that you want to go be a brain surgeon or, one of these other things. There's nothing wrong with working with your hands, getting into a trade, and enjoying what you do. You're young, you have time to experiment, so spend that time making money to get self-efficient, and then if you want to go back to college at a later point in time, which I wish I could now though, to take basic accounting in a small business. If I had no idea excuse me, that I would own my own business one day, but had I known that I was going to be self-employed, I would have at least got a basic accounting degree so I could do my own books, and what was the other degree I would get? Basic accounting and small business management, because those are both the things that I struggle with.
Yeah.
You looked at me for an answer.
We had nieces and nephews that went to school and everything, and I told them the same thing. I said, look, get a trade. Go out there and do that, and because, you go out there and get a business degree, there's no jobs. You can't find nothing.
Yeah.
And
Not everybody wants to sit at a desk either. I tried that for a minute, for like 2 years. It's like, man, I had to sit at a desk, and it did teach me about doing quotations and stuff, though, which I have to do every day. But, man, sitting behind a desk is not me. I'd have to dress nice every day and go out and try to get these other companies to do business in the forklift industry, to do service and stuff. I'd be in their metal shop checking it. I'd come out just wrecked with my nice clothes on because I was more interested in being their fab shop than I was trying to be a salesman.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys a real quick story. So when me and my wife first started dating, she thought I was a bragger because I told her, I said, well, yeah, I know how to do that. I know how to do this. And, I've done this in the past and everything else. Since I was 13 years old, I never had a summer vacation. I always worked with my stepfather building homes. And I did that until after I graduated high school. So after I graduated high school, at the age of 18 years old, I was the general contractor, and I was doing fancy office buildings, doing all the trim work inside of them, doing the staircases and hanging all that kind of stuff, or I'd build you a home. And then I got bored with wood, I got into metal. So over the years, once I learned something and I get bored with it, I want to learn something else. And I've been that hyper kid my whole life to where there's not a heavy piece of equipment that I can't run. Backhoes, trackhoes, dozers, I can run all that stuff. Welding, I've done it underwater, I've done it topside. Yeah. So I've got all these trades in the background. And so when I was telling my wife all this stuff, she's like, you're so full of crap. You don't know how to do all that stuff. And then she'd actually see me go out and do this stuff. And she's like, wow. And then when she met my mom, and my mom has scrapbooks, and she's taking pictures, where I did this and everything else. And then she's like, oh my God, you really do know how to do all this stuff. I'm like, what do you think I was trying to do, impress you?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, no, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just like I said, a goofy old country boy from Alabama.
Jack of all trades.
Yep.
It's a good way to be.
Yep.
So thanks for the opportunity. We appreciate it. Thank you for being a great host and all the swag and stuff you gave us.
Thank you, guys. Sir. And we will get this posted because it looks like I didn't stream. But it is recording.
Good. Yeah,
so I'll get Kaylin to send this out and everybody can see it. And
one last thing, if you don't mind.
What's that?
Check out our channels, FlameTech Scorpion, GarageBound LLC, Hidlow Axle. Give them a follow if you like hands-on industry, blue collar stuff. We're all the time into something fun.
When Kaylin posts all this, we're going to put all their links in there. So you click on their links, check out their channel, follow them. If you like them, give them a thumbs up. And thank you guys for tuning in. Everybody have a great day.
Peace. We both said peace.
Thank you for joining our podcast today. hope the knowledge we passed on to you helped. Please tune in next week for a brand new show and surprise guest. From AM Pressure Washing and your host, Mark Sullins, have a great day and be safe.